Hello folks and welcome to an earlier than usual lockdown live stream, day 25. If I was still doing my advent calendar, I wouldn't be now because it would have finished. 25 days in lockdown and 3 weeks at least still to go. How are we all coping? How are we finding things? Because we're over an hour earlier than we normally are as well, this might be the opportunity for some of you who've been trying to get your questions answered for the last 3 weeks. There's probably going to be fewer people here tonight, so this might be your opportunity to get your questions answered while there's fewer competition. Just to get the little bits of housekeeping out of the way up front, I tried mango for the first time today. It's okay, and Andy is at respite right now for the questions of where Andy is. He's going to be at respite now for the next 3 nights, and then he's back to school on Monday. So the next time we see him will be after he returns from school on Monday. So as ever, I nearly poured it all over my computer. I have a cup of coffee in front of me. You have the time it takes me. You're not going to drink it. You have the time it takes me to drink that cup of coffee to ask as many questions as you would like on whatever topics you would like. And I will do my very best to answer as many of those as I possibly can. As ever, I'll be prioritising the questions that are new questions that I've not answered before, or ones that will give particularly interesting answers. If you have got a question for me, make sure you start it with @KevinChapman, because it then flashes up in red on my screen. If not, I tend to ignore the stuff that doesn't have that on because there's so much stuff going on in the chat. I can't read it all. And of course, as I say every night, if you want to jump the queue and guarantee that you'll get your question answered this evening, the way to do that is through Super Chat. I always promise to read out every Super Chat, answer every question that comes in on Super Chat, because if people are going to directly support the channel and help me carry on doing what I do, then I owe it to them to answer their questions as soon as they come in. So that's exactly where we'll start. Stampy Longbow Vlogs is in with a Super Chat right from the start. No question, just a Super Chat. So thank you for the Super Chat. Much appreciated. And let's dig out some questions. What can we... How are you and Anna? We're good, thank you. That's from Callum. How come you decided to put Andy back to school and respite? Because he wasn't coping with being at home, mainly. I mean, we never pulled him out of respite. We tried to take him to his respite and they turned us away because they didn't realise he was coming. They'd got their dates mixed up somehow. But yeah, we never would have stopped him going to respite because he enjoys going. And we were always planning to send him back to school after the Easter holidays anyway. He's had a month off school now. We've got the illness out of our system. He's been exposed to it and hasn't gotten ill. So for us, the risk to him through going to school, and the risk to us for him going to school, and the risk to the people at school through him going to school seems to be pretty close to zero now, because if he was going to get ill, he would have got ill while me and Anna were ill. The fact that he hasn't means he's either had it with no symptoms or just didn't get it and is theoretically immune to it. But either way, he shouldn't be in a position to spread it. He shouldn't be in a position to catch it. That's, of course, assuming that's what me and Anna had. So in an ideal world, we'd have had a test, but obviously we haven't. But our best guess is that's what we both had. And because of that, the risk in sending him to both him and the staff in the school is far lower than it was before. And a month is long enough for him to be off. He can't cope with any longer than that. You'll see when the vlog comes out on Monday. This has been a very, very challenging week. I know there's been a couple of videos lately that have been called Our Worst Week or something along those lines. I could very easily call the one on Monday that isn't even finished yet that as well, because there has been some real challenges this week. So yeah, it was time for him to go back, definitely. Stampy Longbow Vlogs in with another Super Chat. How would you explain the birds and the bees? Factually. I'm not going to do it on stream because there might be people watching who don't want it explaining to them. But yeah, I've never had to do it. Schools take care of it for you these days, so parents don't have to. But yeah, I would just do it factually. Kiva Patterson Vlogs, thank you very much for the super chat. How are your votes going in the NDA? Then that's the National Diversity Awards. I haven't looked for over a month. Now you've reminded me, I'm supposed to send them an evidence pack to show them that I have done all the stuff that people have said that I've done. So I need to get on that at some point, or else I'm going to end up getting myself disqualified. But yeah, it's well over. The last time I looked, like a month ago, it was well over 600 votes. Lovely lovely, positive, lovely comments from lots of lovely people. So even if I don't go any further, and I don't expect to go any further, but even if I go no further, it's been nice reading all the lovely things people have had to say about me. So yeah, that it was worth being part of the process just for that. So thank you to everyone who has nominated me for that. Liam Bray, thanks for the super chat. Liam says, who's my favourite WWE superstar? Let's say Kevin Owens today. It varies. Has Andy ever watched WWE? WWE's been on when he's been in the room, but he doesn't really show any interest in it. I hope the semi-normality of school helps to calm Andy down. We hope that too, definitely. If you won the lottery jackpot, would you still make videos? Yes, but probably not as often. I probably wouldn't be forcing myself to release like over 100 videos a month like I do at the moment. I'd just take it a little bit easier, just do it when I feel like it. There'd probably be roughly the same number of vlogs as there are now, but definitely fewer Football Manager videos because there wouldn't be the financial pressure of cranking out that amount of content. Do we worry about Andy's screen time? Not even a little bit. There's a train game coming to Nintendo Switch. Would you buy it? It depends what it is and if it's any good. I wouldn't buy it for me, but we might get it for Andy if it looks good. Any chance of an Animal Crossing stream anytime soon? I keep getting questions about Animal Crossing and Civilization and Persona, and my answer's always the same. So I'm going to stop answering this question soon, I think, because I think I've said it enough times. But in these times of financial struggles and hugely dipping ad rates and just worries about money all the time, I have to focus in on the content that's most popular, that is going to make me most money, putting it really bluntly. And as much fun as Animal Crossing and Civilization and Persona all are, if I stream any of them, I'll get maybe 50 people watching. If I stream Football Manager, I'll get 300 or 400 people watching. So I have to go where the interest is and go where the money is more than anything, because I genuinely am worrying every day that there's going to reach a point where we can't pay our bills. So yeah, if I have time to do a stream, I'll stream Football Manager because that will make me money, whereas Animal Crossing won't. And plus, I do love the Football Manager streams. It's not that I'm forcing myself to do something unpleasant. It's not like I'm choosing between streaming Animal Crossing or going and working down a mine. It's two fun activities. One happens to pay me and one doesn't really. So I'll do the fun activity that I can pay my bills with. Do I miss the outside world? I do miss the outside world. Yes, very much so. It was weird today. We drove all the way to Boston. So it's like a hour and 45-minute round trip. And just being out in the world for that long was weird. And it was also weird driving past all the places that were closed. McDonald's, we drove past a couple of McDonald's that were closed, a Starbucks that's closed, a couple of Greg's, a couple of Burger Kings, Costa Coffee, all these places that are closed. And it was very, very weird. Not a lot of cars around, as you would imagine. Everywhere closed. It's the first time we've been properly out and about since it all started. And it was very, very strange. Thank you. We've got a new channel member, but it doesn't say your name anywhere. That's a weird one. I don't know why I can't see that, but thank you for becoming a channel member anyway. But it seems you retracted your message, and now I can't see your name, which is weird. Do I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine? If so, who's my favourite character? I do watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I would say Terry, because I have a lot in common with the man. I'm also a big hulking muscle man who likes yogurt. So yeah, I'm a Terry man. Right, let's pick out a few more of these questions. What do I think should happen to the football season, and thoughts on steps 3 to 7 being... My thoughts on any season being abandoned is stupid. And I think the football season should be finished whenever we're able to play football again. It's really that simple. When we're able to play football again, finish this season, then have a little break, and then play the next season. I don't know why people are getting so worked up about, we've got to start the new season in August. Well, no, we don't. We can start the new season in November. We can start the new season in February. We'll just finish this one, have enough of a break to sort out new season tickets and fixture lists and I don't know, not a lot else. The players don't need more time off. You don't need to have a 4-month break between the two seasons. You could have 3 weeks off just to get the logistics done in setting up for the new season. and the division changes, and then just go straight into the new season. It just seems obvious to me that you finish what you started. Where's Anna? Anna is in the house. Railway Empire. I'd have to look into it. I don't know anything about it. Have I watched The Big Show on Netflix? I haven't. I can't imagine I'm going to, because I can't imagine it's any good. It doesn't really strike me as my kind of thing. Do I watch Glee? I do not watch Glee. I'm aware of Glee from back when it was a thing. Surely that show's not still going, is it? I remember it was like I was still married when Glee was on TV, and it used to be on, and I used to sing along with some of the songs occasionally, but I didn't like watch it. Is Andy eating Easter eggs? He hasn't eaten any yet. No. Has Andy understood a bit why he's had time off school? Not even a little bit. No. Would I like to live in Manchester? I'm not against living in Manchester. I'm not really against living anywhere. I have not been to Anfield. My favourite Animal Crossing villager. I don't know. I don't really know all the names. I think I'm a monster in the world of Animal Crossing. I'd be just as happy if none of the villagers were there. I just want to make my island cool. I don't really need villagers hanging around and getting in the way. I obviously play it for the wrong reasons. There's a legend your mum once came into your living room with a card full of flavours you could use to make your own flavour crisps. Can you confirm, deny? That's a legend, is it? I swear that did happen. The rest of my family think I made it up. But we were watching the Superman movie. It would have been the late 80s. And I am certain that it was like salt and shake stuff, but it was a big cardboard sheet with different salt and shake flavours. And you could pick the one that you wanted and then make and put it in your crisps and shake it up. And I chose a bacon flavour one. And I remember it all happening. So it was either a really, really vivid dream, which is what my dad is convinced it was, or it happened and everyone else has forgotten because it wasn't a big deal. But if anyone was around in the late 80s, maybe even early 90s, but I suspect late 80s, and can either confirm, deny, if you can confirm the existence of these, it would really help my sanity. How is Anna doing with the final year of the situation? We've been given a safety net in case our marks drop because of the upheaval. I'm not, as far as I'm aware, she hasn't been given any such luxury. They've been given a 2-week extension and told to get on with it pretty much. Yeah, it's not been handled very well by her uni. We have a new member in, Eddie Ferrara. Thank you very much for becoming a new channel member. Thanks for the support. Does Andy have any other siblings? No. You'd have probably noticed them if they were around. Do you like The Weakest Link? Not really. Would you to Anfield? I'm not sure what you mean. Were you nervous about meeting Andy for the first time when you met Anna? No. I met Anna and Andy for the first time on the same day, like 3 hours later. What's my opinion on the 30 superstars that were released by the company, I assume by WWE? It's sad and stupid, and it shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have been stockpiling them in the first place. How is Andy? He was fine this morning when we dropped him off. Will I ever go to any WWE shows once this is all over? Almost certainly. I don't see why I would stop. What job will Anna go into once she's finished uni? Who knows? It depends on what jobs she can get, because all of that stuff is completely up in the air at the moment. She's got she had another phone call today telling her she's shortlisted for an interview. They'll let her know as and when the interviews happen. So I've lost count of how many interviews she's got ready to go as soon as lockdown is over. So I guess we'll then see. I can see there's more and more of these would you live in questions coming in. So I'll just answer them all in one go and then ignore them for the rest of the stream. I would live pretty much anywhere if there was a reason to live there. What's my first memory? I don't know. I've got lots of memories as a toddler. I remember helping my mum buckle her shoes sat on the stairs when she was pregnant with my brother. So I would have been about 3 then. Or maybe 2.5, 3. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I remember anything earlier than that. That might be the earliest one. The crisps you're thinking of are made by Smiths and called Flavour and Shake. So they genuinely did exist. You are my hero if they genuinely... For 30 years, people have been telling me I'm insane and it never happened. I need to Google this now. I am very happy to derail this So let's have a look. Smith's flavour and... oh, my word. It even comes up on Google. Oh, my word. These were oh, they existed. This is genuinely life-changing stuff. Plain crisp plus ready to add a flavour. Shake for yourself. Oh my word. I need to see a picture of the cardboard sheet with them on. I can't see a picture of the actual flavours. I need to see that to see if my memory was right about that. I realise I'm still streaming. You don't understand how long people have been telling me I'm nuts. This is mad. Oh my word. This is so cool. Right, I just need to tweet a picture of this. This is, talk about derailing a stream. Whoever asked that question originally, and then whoever found the details, you're both heroes, because I feel so vindicated. They existed. I'm not insane. I knew it. I mean, that's just the kind of thing someone who's not insane tweets. I just need to add the picture to the tweet. I'm sorry for those of you who don't care, but really, this is life-changing stuff. My word. There we go. Let's get that out there. Bernie McManus, thanks for the super chat. Do I understand Cameo now? I'll level with you. After you asked the question yesterday, that's the last I ever heard of it, and I have done zero research and not looked into it and still don't really get it. I'm not really bothered about it, to be honest. Like I said at the time, I don't think I need to add another social media thing to. I mean, I don't use Instagram enough. I don't use Snapchat at all. I don't use TikTok at all. I don't use Facebook at all. So I'm all right with just having YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. That's enough for me, I think. Will we take Andy to Disney World if we ever find ourselves with a spare £10,000 to £15,000? Yes, we will. Has Andy ever sworn? Yes. Has Andy been... yeah, Andy's gone to respite. What did I think of the Sign Along With Us choir golden buzzer? I didn't watch him. I just saw the buzzer. I really don't like Britain's Got Talent. It's not my thing at all. Can I stream with Anna? No. Anna's busy and not really in the mood for streaming because she's got so much work to do. The people calling you nuts were right, just for different reasons. Look, I don't care. The next thing I need to prove is that in the mid-90s, we went to a Christmas-themed shop in the New Forest and bought a tomato Christmas tree decoration, which is the other thing in my family that I've been telling them for years happened, and they are all convinced didn't happen. That Christmas, when the tomato wasn't there, I was so upset because I remember us buying it, and then everyone saying, we didn't buy anything of this. What are you talking about? We didn't buy that. And I know we did. And the fact that those crisps existed means we bought that tomato as well. I now need to go and search my dad's attic. I'm 26 and I've had them before. Who thought you were insane? Everyone I've ever told about them thought I was insane. It's mad. Michael W, thank you for the super chat. Working on my homemade sausage rolls. Scratch puff. I've never made puff pastry from scratch. I like to make sausage rolls, but I'm not brave enough to do my own pastry. Any tips for spices, etc.? Seem to recall you made some in an old video. I wish I could help, but my dad makes the sausage meat. When I say I make sausage rolls, my dad provides me with sausage meat already like seasoned and everything, and then I buy ready rolled puff pastry, so I literally just combine the two and cook them. So I'm not your man, I don't think, to help you. You need to talk to my dad. I'll try and get his secrets. I couldn't even tell you what spices are in sausage rolls. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure sage is in there, but other than that, I don't know. Please make a TikTok account. Not unless they let me have lollujo. Someone took my username. I'm not registering for social media where I can't be lollujo. That's not how it works. So I won't have TikTok until I can have lollujo. And I've told TikTok that, and believe it or not, they didn't care and they didn't give me my account name. Does Andy get to watch Britain's Got Talent at respite? Almost certainly. You promised Platinum members some behind the scenes and outtake vids. Any news on those? To be honest, the behind the outtakes video came out this week on Wednesday to everybody, because I just thought, actually, this is good enough to release for everybody. I don't need to just keep this behind as a special outtakes video. As far as behind the scenes stuff works, I don't know if you were in the members only stream at the weekend, but that was pretty much the topic of that, asking what people would like to see as a behind the scenes video. And we didn't really get anywhere. So if you've got some suggestions for behind the scenes stuff you'd like to see, I would love to have some suggestions, because I don't really have a plan for it. We don't really have outtakes because I don't know. I just tend to leave it all in. So we don't really have outtakes, and I need to know what kind of behind the scenes things people want. Do you want, I don't know, do you want stuff about the cameras I use, the editing process? Is that what you want for behind the scenes, or what do you want? Let me know what you want and I'll see what I can sort out. But yeah, very much the membership thing. It's what the community page is there for. It's got to be like a two-way thing. I don't really have a plan for that. So if you've got suggestions, I am happy to take them into consideration. How old is my brother? How old am I? He's either 33 or 34. I don't know off the top of my head. How are Amy and Lucy doing with not being able to see their friends? I mean, they've got FaceTime and stuff, haven't they? They're all right. They'll only listen to you if you're in the millions of followers or a government celeb official. Well, then I ain't having a TikTok, am I? Is there a set time you feed Dave every day? My dog gets fed at 4 p.m. every day. Not a set time as such. We usually put a bowl down for his breakfast when we have our breakfast, and then usually around the time we're having dinner in the evening, we'll put another bowl down. So he has it split into 2 portions. But it's not like a specific time, and it usually just coincides with when we're eating. What has been my favourite vlog so far? Probably the Disney vlogs. How did you meet Anna? I picked her out of a catalogue. There's a video about it somewhere on the channel. Definitely the editing process. Paul, I am writing that down, and I will see what I can do. It might end up having to be more than one video because there's quite a lot to it. But I will, I can do a video about the editing process. If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd buy? Well, I don't play the lottery, so I think it'd be unlikely that I would win. Anna thinks I'm mad with my views on this, but because I've spent so much of my life working so hard to get what I have now, and I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere and making a success of this dream job, I don't want to win the lottery because I want to get there without cheating. I want to be able to say that I bought us a house and our cars and provided for our retirement, and I want to be able to say we got rich off the back of my hard work and creativity. So I don't really want to win the lottery. If I don't know, if Anna secretly bought a ticket and we won the lottery, I imagine we'd just, I don't imagine much would change. We'd probably buy a big house somewhere, probably in London, and it would be cool. And it would be a nice little shortcut. But it's not like I've got a list of hundreds of things that I want to buy, and I don't have particularly expensive tastes. Cars don't interest me. I like my tech, but I already have all the tech that I would want. I mean, I can't buy an extra good iPhone or a extra super duper camera because I've got the stuff I wanted anyway. So yeah, I kind of want to do it without cheating. Crazy Cat, thank you for the super chat. How do you think Andy would be if the girls lived with me full time? Would he struggle sharing Anna and negotiating trips out to accommodate everyone? I don't think so. Up until probably 2 years ago, the girls were here half of the time anyway. So like they'd have 2 days with us, 2 days with their mum, and just come back and forth, back and forth. It's only in the last couple of years they've kind of got tired of doing that. They did that for a long time, and he didn't seem to have an issue with when they were here. So no, I think he'd be fine, and I don't think we'd necessarily take Andy out on trips to accommodate everyone. We'd do what we've kind of always done, and we'd do stuff with Andy for Andy, and we'd do stuff with the girls for the girls, and sometimes there'd be overlap, and we'd all go. But like, I take the girls to Comic-Con and Andy doesn't come. I take Andy to churches and the girls don't come. So yeah, I think it would be pretty easy to keep it going, especially with the girls the age they are now. I mean, Lucy just takes care of herself, and Amy is getting there. Any suggestions for podcast making software, doing a uni project on public health? To be honest, I've tried lots over the years, and even now, more than 10 years into podcasting, almost always I just record into Audacity. Because we all record remotely, we talk to each other on Discord, but you could use Skype or Google Hangouts or whatever you want to do, just some way for people to talk to each other. And then each of us record our own audio independently on Audacity. We clap sync them at the start, and then we just edit it all, or I say Pab edits it all together. We send all our files to Pab, and he just puts it all together. So the Discord file never actually gets released, because that's got connection problems and people dropping out and all that kind of stuff. So each of us just send in our lovely silky smooth audio that we've recorded ourselves on our own setups, and Pab just edits it together. And Audacity does that job absolutely fine. And it's free, open source software. You don't need fancy software. And I've got the full Adobe Creative Suite. I've got GarageBand and all this other stuff, and Audition, but I just don't feel the need to learn to use them when Audacity does everything that I need. Right, let's pick out some more questions. Has Andy's interest in girls increased, and how would you explain the concept of a girlfriend to him? He's definitely interested, but I don't think he's interested in having a girlfriend. I think he likes to look at girls, or specifically he likes to look at pictures of girls. But I don't think, I just can't imagine him having a girlfriend. That's not to say he won't ever have one, but I just can't imagine him caring about another person's point of view enough. So I don't know. I suspect it's something that if we ever do get to that point, it's going to be a long way off, and it will happen gradually, and we'll have time to prepare us all for it. What's my favourite DC TV show? I don't watch any of them anymore. I was a big Arrow fan. I liked Flash, and I liked Supergirl, and I liked everything as it came along, but there just got to be too much of it to keep track of, so I just dropped it all, so I don't have time to watch it all. Do I have any tips for beginners in podcasting? Just relax, I guess, and try and talk as naturally as possible. It's the same as doing video, doing live streams. It just all comes down to practice. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Try and make your audio as nice as possible. Try and record somewhere quiet. Try and get the best microphone you can get. For podcasting, having a good microphone is having a good microphone for doing a podcast is more important than having a good camera for doing YouTube. You could do YouTube videos using just your phone. You can't really record a podcast into a phone. You need a decent microphone, or else it's just not possible to listen to without it sounding awful. Paul, thank you for the super chat. Paul says, buy yourself some coffee pods. I absolutely will. Thank you very much, Paul. It's very kind. I love buildings and want to become an architect. Do you think Andy would want to become one as well? He's never really shown any interest in designing buildings. I think he'd be more interested in trains rather than buildings and that kind of thing. What got me into wrestling? Hulk Hogan and the 80s, and everyone was into wrestling, and then everyone grew out of it and I didn't. But yeah, it was in the late 80s when Hulkamania was at its height. Every kid in school was into wrestling. We all had the wrestling sticker album. We'd all swap tapes and stuff, because not many of us had Sky. I didn't have Sky. But my uncle did, so he'd record tapes for us, and so would some of my friends, and we'd swap them all around, and it was just cool. It was like Batman and stuff like that. It was just they were the two cool things in like 1989, wrestling and Batman, and I was super into both of them because I've always been a nerd. Do you use your Samsung earbuds when you're not at the gym? I don't have Samsung earbuds anymore. I got some Apple AirPods for Christmas, and I finally gave up and let me get AirPods, and I use them all the time. I use them in the gym, but I also use them when I'm walking Dave. If I'm out on my own walking Dave, I use them whenever I'm anywhere on my own, really, like walking around the shops. I use them when I'm washing up. I use them when I'm watching YouTube. when there's other people around who don't want to watch YouTube, or if I'm in bed late at night and don't want to wake people up. So yeah, I give them a good rinsing every day. They need a charge every day. I wear them a lot. Right, let's pick out some more questions. Is there anything you're enjoying about being in lockdown? No, not really. I noticed you eat a lot of you eat a lot of chain restaurants. Is there any non-chain restaurants you like? Depends what you class as a chain. Bodine's isn't really a chain. There's like 4 of them across London, but I wouldn't class it as a chain. Same as like Red Dog Saloon. There's maybe 2 in the country. I think there's 1 in London, 1 in Nottingham. Red's Barbecue, there's maybe 5 of them. I think 3 of them are in Leeds, 1's in Nottingham, 1 in Birmingham, I think. So a lot of the barbecue places we eat at aren't what I would class as chain restaurants. But I mean, I live in Peterborough. There's not really much here. It's for 2 years in a row, it's been voted the worst place to live in the UK. I can't think of any independent restaurants that there are here that I would want to go to that don't look awful. And when I'm in a big city, I tend to hunt out the barbecue, so I don't really experience any of the other stuff. So yeah, we're not really restaurant people. I guess the vlog might give the impression that we are, because often we vlog when we're out and about doing stuff, and that'll involve having something to eat. But I would say we probably go out to eat less than most people. I think, maybe. We certainly don't very often just go out to eat as like pleasure. Matt says you don't need an expensive mic though. You don't know how to edit it. You need to know how to edit it well. For instance, I use a Behringer mic that costs £45, and with the right editing, it sounds fab. There you go. Or you could know nothing about editing and just buy an expensive mic like I did. Either option works. Do we have enough bread, fruit, rice and vegetables? Are we managing to eat healthily? Yes to the first part of it. To the second part of it. We're not really bothered about eating healthily at the moment. We've got other battles to pick. We're still having our Gusto boxes delivered every week, so they're kind of reasonably healthy. Although we're not choosing particularly healthy options at the moment. We had Chipotle burgers for dinner tonight, which, I mean, it's not as bad as it sounds. It was like handmade burgers from mince and like oven cut chip things. So it wasn't the worst burger and chips you could ever eat, but it was still burger and chips. But yeah, we're not worrying about that at the moment. We're picking our battles, and there's too much going on to worry about eating healthy at the moment. Chris Dixon, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Kev, been listening / watching you for about 8 years and got to throw a few dollars your way. Thank you. Something easy for you. What's the meaning of life? 42. Joel, thank you for the super chat. Joel Morris, do you think the Hardy Boys should be inducted into WWF Hall of Fame as a tag team? Absolutely, but obviously they won't be until Matt Hardy retires, because while he's working for the competition, he ain't going in no Hall of Fame, is he? But yeah, when they retire, they should be. I would argue there's probably a case for them to go in individually as well. Probably, I don't know. It depends how you view the Hall of Fame, because if the Hall of Fame is just based on what they do in WWE, then just as a tag team probably. But you know, Inoki's in the Hall of Fame, and he wasn't in. Weren't they putting Jushin Thunder Liger in this year, who like almost never wrestled in WWE. So if you're looking at contribution to the wrestling industry as a whole, I would say there is a good argument for them both being in individually as well. For the careers they've had apart from each other as well as together, but definitely as a tag team they should be in without any question at all. Right, what's the best meal you got from the Gusto box? They're all really good, and I know it sounds like an ad, but because they can't take on new customers at the moment, they're not even paying us at the moment, so it's not an ad. I just really, really like them. It's very, very rare we have a meal that isn't really nice from what they send. So I'm not sure, really. The best one we've ever had, I don't know. No idea. Emma M says, am I disappointed that the autism show has been postponed? Only in so much as I'm disappointed that the world has been postponed. I would have been more disappointed if all this was going on and they hadn't have postponed it. So postponing it was absolutely the right thing to do, and I would have been kicking up a fuss by now if it hadn't have been postponed. So yeah, I'm no more or less disappointed about that than I am about not having any Comic-Con or EGX or Insomnia or Disney. In fact, I would say it's probably behind most of that stuff in the pecking order of things I'm disappointed about. But yeah, I mean, it's been rescheduled. I'm looking forward to it when it happens. Hopefully it does happen. We'll just have to see. We'll see how the rest of the year pans out. Right. Do all the meals from Gusto cost the same, or is each meal priced differently? It's a flat rate. I think we pay £32 a week for 4 standard meals. They do have some options that you can pick each week that cost a little bit more. Like it's generally if you have something like steak or prawns or something expensive, they might charge a little supplement. Or that when they did like a Christmas dinner at Christmas, and I think that was like an extra £2 per person. But we tend to just pick from the standard meals, so we get 4 meals for £32, which it's not cheap, but it's also not mega expensive, especially when most of the time most of that is covered by the affiliate program, because they don't pay us in cash for people who sign up using our link. They give us money towards future boxes, so it's only probably in the last month or so that we've been paying for that ourselves. It's almost entirely been covered by other people signing up for our link for most of the 8 months or so we've had it. But we like it so much that even though that's not going on at the moment, we're still paying for it because the meals are really good. It's really easy. So yeah, I can't think of a good reason not to get them. Are you worried about what might happen to non-league clubs? I've been to non-league games where there's 50 people and they've got no other source of income. Yeah, I mean, there are going to be clubs going out of business. It's a shame, but I mean, there's going to be lots of businesses going out of business. So it's hard to worry more about any one particular kind of business than any other. I think we're just going to have to accept it's unprecedented times. Lots of people are getting ill, lots of businesses are folding, and the world, when we come out the other side of this, is going to look very different to what it did going in. I still hear people talking about what you're going to do when things are back to normal. And I think what a lot of people have got to come to terms with is it isn't going to go back to normal. It's going to be a new normal. And it's going to be a very different world for quite a long time before we get back to anything resembling like what we had before. And I'd like to think in some areas it won't ever go back to normal and it will be an improved version. Like, I think it will be very hard for at least as long as this current generation of people are still voters and taxpayers and people with a voice. I think it will be very, very difficult to ever underfund the NHS again, because I think there's a whole generation of people who are living through this now who see what happens when you don't fund the NHS properly. So I don't think the NHS, for example, will go back to normal. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. Michael W says Zoom Chapman family game night. Still Big Potato, folks. We still love Big Potato. Absolutely. We're not currently under contract with them, so we are allowed to play other games now. But that's not to say there won't ever be another contract again. And obviously we'll continue to disclose they've paid us in the past. But yeah, I don't know about a Zoom game night. I'm not sure how that would work, or if that would work, or even if it worked as something fun for us to do. I don't know if it would work as a video, but it's definitely something to consider for sure. If I could only go to one convention, which would it be? Without question, Comic-Con. No, not even. Don't even need to pause to think. London Comic-Con, easy choice. How big of an effect has the virus had on my channels? A really big effect. I put a graph on my Twitter this morning showing the effect it's had on the ad rates. It's cut my income in half so far. I'm getting more views than I normally get. But I'm earning far less money than I would normally get. And yeah, it's a huge negative impact on that side of things, and it's just something we're going to have to figure out a way to work through. It's one of the reasons I'm streaming so much, both on here and on Twitch, because it's an alternative form of revenue that wasn't there before. There is no way we would be able to survive just on videos at the moment, the way we have for most of the last 3 years. They're just not earning any money at all, really. We're kind of relying on the generosity of strangers at the moment through Twitch subs and super chats and channel memberships and Patreon and donations and merch sales. And if it wasn't for that stuff, we would be in serious trouble at the moment. So thank you to everyone who's ever done anything like that, or even just watched the adverts. It's all very much appreciated. The West Ham fan says, am I going to do another FIFA 20 video soon? I can fairly confidently say I'll never do another FIFA 20 video. I'll probably do some FIFA 21 videos when that comes out. I think I'll probably do like an Ultimate Team Road to Glory thing because there's usually like a 2-month gap between FIFA coming out and Football Manager coming out, and usually by that point I'm down to one Football Manager series. So I think my plan, certainly before everything went wrong, my plan for this year was to have one of my Football Manager series finished by late August, early September, so I could just slot an Ultimate Team series in for a couple of months and just do it for a couple of months until the new Football Manager game comes out, and then I can just fully focus on Football Manager again. The only problem with that, of course, is with everything that's going on, we don't know if or when FIFA will come out. We don't know if or when Football Manager will come out. So it's kind of all up in the air a little bit. How have the National Autistic Society advised parents or teachers should explain this current situation to autistic family members or students? Is there a go-to set of advice? There's lots of advice on their website. I've had a browse through it. It's difficult. It doesn't really help with Andy, but there is lots of there's lots of info on their website that you can go and check out. They have a whole COVID-19 section set up on their website. Do I think the NHS will still be owned by the public and funded by the government? I mean, that's not strictly how it works now, is it? It's owned by the government, isn't it? People like to sugarcoat it, but it's owned by the government. If you had unlimited money, where would you go on holiday? Disney World. Do a FIFA series with Posh? Absolutely not. The only FIFA I play is Ultimate Team. FIFA 21 might be cancelled. The government is seriously considering slapping a BBFC X rating on anything with loot boxes when this chaos is over. That would be I don't like loot boxes, but I mean, Ultimate Team is awesome. I really enjoy it. And you don't have to spend money on it. So I don't know if I would even class them as loot boxes. Maybe, I think it could be tweaked to be fine in that kind of environment. Does Andy like wearing clothes? Does Dave like wearing clothes? Not Andy. Does Dave like wearing clothes? No. I mean, the answer to both is no. Neither of them like wearing clothes, but no, Dave doesn't like wearing clothes. I love WWE. I'm from Stoke-on-Trent. Awesome. Right, I'm taking the last mouthful of coffee. Coffee is gone. 3 more questions because I need to get things wrapped up because we're recording the podcast in a little while. I'm going to try and get an early one in tonight because we're always up until God midnight on Fridays doing the podcast. So with Andy not here, it'd be nice to start a little bit early and be a little bit more alert in the morning because Anna's obviously got to get up and carry on with dissertation stuff. Luke, thank you very much for the super chat. You okay? Just spent 113 quid at Asda today on all food and drinks and other bits. Also, how's the day been? And also, how's the family? And the day's been good. The family are good. And that sounds like you've done a good big shop. Good work. And thank you for the super chat. Rock or Austin? Probably at the time I would have said The Rock. Looking back, Austin. Was Andy ever bullied? No. Have I ever found your villagers on Animal Crossing doing anything interesting? Yeah, singing, like you say, singing, fishing, just making stuff, just doing their thing, really. How tall is Andy? I'm not sure. Anna's like 5'1", and he's probably a couple of inches taller than her. So let's say 5'3", maybe. I would guess. We often see you out and about sporting a snazzy backpack. What items besides your camera don't you leave home without? I I mean, it is the snazzy backpack you speak of is down here in front of me, and it more often than not is just camera gear. So I have the camera loose at the moment, but it does pack down into the bag, and this is the camera bag. So in here we have, you can tell I've not been out for a while, I've still got a woolly hat in here, and it's a really boring like vlogger's bag because I have a spare camera, I have some ND filters, there's a couple of lenses in there in the top part, a notebook, and then in the bottom part we have more lenses, these things, whatever they're called, lens hoods. There's a couple of batteries. Generally, it is just camera gear and stuff I need to vlog. And it takes an entire backpack full of stuff. When we went to Disney last year, I set a rule for everybody saying, you're only allowed to take one bag. We've got one boot. You're only allowed one bag each. And they all gave me stick over the fact that I had my big bag for all my clothes and I got a second bag to take all my vlogging gear and laptop and stuff in. But had to vlog. So yeah, I usually if I'm going out and about, I'll have as a minimum 3 cameras with me, spare lenses, spare straps, spare filters, spare batteries. I carry spare tripods. I carry a lot of gear with me. Right, 2 more questions. Where does Amy go clothes shopping? Love her style. I have no idea. I've not been clothes shopping with Amy since she was like 2. I have no idea. And then last question, am I planning to supplement my income in any way due to the reduced CPM on my FM channel? At the moment, I'm supplementing my income by Twitch streaming and doing these streams and hoping that that will be enough to fill the gap. We'll have to see how things go. People have been very, very supportive so far, but I am not naive enough to think that that can go on forever, especially as everybody's financial situation continues to worsen. So I don't know what we'll do if we go beyond that. No idea. Getting a job isn't really an option because nobody's hiring the sort of stuff that I can do. I'm not physically able to go and stack shelves in a supermarket or drive a delivery truck or something like that, the kind of things that people are still hiring for. I would just be crippled with back and knee pain within minutes of starting. So no one's going to hire me as a teacher. There's no point in me going and doing like an entry-level job anywhere else because it's not going to pay me as much as what I would be earning carrying on YouTube. I mean, I talk about my CPM being low and us struggling for money, but that's struggling for money in the context of how much money we're used to earning. So if I was to stop YouTube tomorrow and go and work full-time on the checkouts in Tesco, for example, I'd be earning even less money than if I just carried on working for the lowered CPM that I'm on now. So it's it's difficult to know what we'll do. We're just going to have to rely on the fact that I'm a smart guy and I'm creative and hopefully I'll always have new ideas and we should be okay. But yeah, if anyone's got any suggestions for things that I could do, I'm open to them. But it's not as simple as just going and working, like delivering Amazon parcels for a few hours, because it doesn't pay well enough to justify spending my time doing that rather than doing this. It's complicated. It's very complicated. Right, we are going to wrap things up there anyway, because I need to start getting us prepped, ready for the podcast that we're going to be recording. If you haven't listened to the podcast yet, it's available everywhere you can get podcasts from. It's called Mature Gamer Podcast. It is the #1 independent video games podcast of all time on the UK iTunes store. The only gaming podcasts in history that are above us in that all-time charts are things like IGN, Giant Bomb, and all the big names. We are the #1 independent one ever, so it's worth a listen. It's out every Saturday morning and it's available everywhere podcasts are available from. So check that out tomorrow morning to see what we got up to. And we'll wrap things up there. So thank you for joining me again for the stream this evening for a nice early start. I'm surprised to see so many people arrive for an early start. It's reassuring to know you don't have to be 8 o'clock on the dot to get people turn up. And thank you to the new channel members we picked up during the stream. Thank you to everyone who supported what I do through Super Chat during the stream. Your support is massively appreciated as ever, and I will see you all again at some point tomorrow. Just like with today, I'm not guaranteeing times over the weekend because, as I keep saying, it's Anna's dissertation finishing weekend, so I'm fitting my weekend around her. So if she has plans for me to proofread her essay tomorrow evening, I might be streaming tomorrow morning. Who knows? Just keep an eye on my Twitter to know when it's coming. There'll definitely be a lockdown live stream tomorrow. I just have no idea when. Thanks for watching, folks. Toodle pip. Bye-bye.